movie that we just watched. But first, a little bit of a heads up.
Some of the movies we watch deal with heavy subject matters.
In order to talk about these emotionally delicate things and the heavy subject matters that we sometimes cover, we add humor and crude language to add some levity and to process our own trauma.
If that doesn't feel fun or safe for you, we completely understand. Please take care of yourself first and foremost.
And we spoil the end of pretty much every movie that we watch.
Now you know. On with the show. Taste of champagne.
Ugh.
I was today's years old when I found out that the title song is the band is the character Isabel. That person's band.
Oh, really?
The Bloods or whatever. I think. No, wait. Yeah.
I thought it was...
No, wait. Born in Flames is the Red Crayola, which is Mayo Thompson. It's the other one. Check. Got it.
Now I'm super confused.
It's the other one that gets played multiple times in the movie.
So Born in Flames isn't Angela?
Angela? Who's Angela?
The girl with the band in the movie. I don't know what you're saying. What am I supposed to, like...
I don't know what you're asking. I'm sorry.
You just said the band that plays...
Undercover Nation is the song that in the movie.
Okay.
It's like the one you see a live performance of. That's the band of the person who plays Isabel.
Yeah, because she's literally playing multiple... I'm sorry.
I didn't recognize.
Oh. Okay. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Thought you were... I was confused. And then I kept getting more confused. That's all. I'm distracted because I keep hearing.
Yeah.
So I'm like, oh God.
Let's maybe just start over. What's up?
Hey. Yeah. So why did you want to watch this for your birthday?
Well, for my birthday was just because this has been... I think I talked about this in our monthly preview, but it was mostly just I needed another film. This was one that had been on my mind more recent. I mean...
Yeah.
I had seen it before, a long time ago, so it was definitely... It's one I've seen more than one time.
Right.
And what I remembered of it, I'm like, oh, I definitely would have a different read of it.
Yeah.
Now.
Yeah.
That much is for sure.
Yeah.
Anyway, so it's one that had been coming up in my mind more frequently this year or whatever. So, and I just need another film, and I'm like, oh, why not now?
Yeah.
So, and it's one that, because I saw it so long ago and it was so impactful.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh yeah, like, may as well. I mean, it's not like, I just mean, I do have a connection to it. It's not like,
no, yeah.
shoehorned in just because.
No. That's why I wanted you to say more, because I know that it's not just something you're like, I've never seen it, and I wanted to...
Oh, yeah.
I'm not familiar with feminist
Yeah,
films.
and I saw... Right. And I saw it at a time when, like, I was... My main... political... framing was around feminism, which was where I was for, like, the late 90s, meaning, like... my late teens, early 20s. Was my main framing for
Yeah.
everything, you know, or
I'm going to be honest. I feel like I was an influence on you a little bit in your political and feminist agenda.
sure, of course. But why? How?
Well,
When?
for one, when we first got together, you
Wouldn't say
had-
the B word.
Yeah, you wouldn't say the B word at all, and you were like, and I was like, oh, what an innocent child, and you wouldn't even say slut either, and now you just go around calling our plants sluts.
Well,
And
our
it's-
plants.
Well,
well.
yeah, but I mean, you know, it seems like you're more comfortable.
Yeah, I'm completely liberated now.
No, I definitely not that.
Well, I can't tell if you're being
I'm
little-
not being
a little facetious.
I'm not being
about-
facetious. No,
Okay.
no. I'm not saying it like negatively. I'm saying I feel like you were maybe sorry, I feel like I have a bunch of sleep in my eye
He
that I
is
didn't get out.
frantically
Yeah, I know.
rubbing their face.
I know. Sorry. I had to rub one out.
You know what? That was funny.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
See, made me laugh.
It's been 84 years.
The Liqueur de la Mer.
Fuck. So my eyes just feel really
My ice.
my eyes cocked him in the eyes. That Adventure Time.
Yeah. Which has got to be Bamford, right?
Yeah. In the eyes. Cut him in the eyes. It's so stupid. Anyway,
Is that
it's like
the Magic Man?
yeah, that's one of the Magic Man episodes. I think it's the first Magic Man episode,
Yeah.
but it's also got Michael Dorn in it.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. There's a lot of
Jet pilot Michael Dorn.
yeah. There's a lot like Frakes, Surtees, and
Really?
yeah, and not in that episode.
No.
And LeVar Burton.
Oh, yeah, I remember Burton.
Yeah.
Because he's the bubble.
Yeah. / air.
Also, Stephen Root. Stephen Root?
Stephen Root.
Anyway, sorry.
Anyway, yeah, no, that was my little aside. What was I saying? Oh, I was just saying because I felt like your feminism was more white
Oh, sure.
when we got together than it is now.
Thank you.
That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
I'm taking credit for it, but I'm saying good things.
All right.
That's all.
You heard it here first. Mm-hmm. I was a POC exclusionary radical feminist.
Yeah.
I was a perf when Z and I met, but since then,
Pockers.
apocrypher. Yeah, I would like to hear your thoughts. 'Cause
Oh, I was gonna say I want to hear like
Oh.
how
Meep Zorp.
has your oh my god, why can't I tense this?
Shani.
I've been working on Shawnee all morning, and so now I'm like
Oh.
English. I'm like, how's having your times?
How can
changed
you
it?
exclusive have had seen this light film?
Anyway,
Exactly right.
no, how have your feelings towards it changed since you watched it last, if at all? I remember like
Feelings.
when I watched it the first time, I remember thinking it was a little bit boring
Yeah, right. Sure.
and short. And I was a little bit
Yeah,
like,
that's funny to me.
I felt like it just sort of ended abruptly, and I was like not
Yeah.
expecting. Like I didn't know anything about it except for it was like an important film. And so I remember the first time I was like, "What?" I was like, "This
Yeah.
is such a weird
Yes.
short film," and it was so much shorter in my memory than it actually is.
Yeah, you were like, what? It's like
I thought
40
it was
minutes
like
long?
45 minutes long. And I don't know. Maybe I was like drunk when I watched it the first time. So I was like in a
Well-
really good mood or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I remember my previous viewings being like, okay, some of this is really hard to
Yeah.
stay
Yeah.
focused for.
Yeah. Yeah.
And, part of it is like, I don't, almost everybody is like not a professional actor.
Yeah.
So,
It reminded me of The Watermelon Woman in that way, that it
Yes.
seemed very much like there was one take that everybody was doing, and that was all you got.
I watched a little this morning of Lizzie Borden on a it was a screening at like a university or something.
Yeah.
I didn't watch too much of it because I didn't want to. No, I mean, and I'll explain my reasoning, but like I didn't want to hear too much of like the process or her intention
Oh, yeah.
because
Right.
that can
Right.
really ruin a thing.
Yeah. That's
but
why
I did
laughed,
learn-
because I knew I was like, right, because you don't want to ruin it.
Yeah.
If you talk too much, it's going to ruin the film for me.
Yeah. What was I going to say? Oh. So she made a film that came out in 1976. Short.
Yeah.
Well, it's not short. It's not any shorter than Born in Flames.
Yeah, but it's
But-
not. Yeah.
It's considered experimental, but it's called Regrouping. And it's about
Yeah.
about a women's art collective sort of falling apart or whatever. So she started working on this right after. So
Yeah.
she said it took about 7 years to
Yeah.
complete.
Yeah, not surprised, because it looks like it's in the 70s and early 80s. Like it looks like it.
Yeah.
like,
So it is.
Yeah.
And so it is.
I was wondering about that. I was like, I wonder how long it took, because I was like, I know it came out in 1983, but I'm like, I
Right.
know it was not made in 1983. So I was very curious I read a little bit that like she used
Yeah.
like scrap
Yeah.
film basically to record this, which
Right.
looks a lot more. This is where it's interesting to me that visually it makes more sense than, oh God, what is it? It's not Ninja Cop. What is it? Is it Ninja
Samurai.
Cop? Samurai Cop. Yeah. Like they did the same thing and it would just
Oh.
like completely distort.
But it's
like,
way worse.
Yeah, but with this, there was a lot more consistency,
Yeah,
even though
yeah.
she used different types of film also. So I was like, oh wow, like
Yeah, I saw
would
that
not
she
have,
used, like-
yeah,
Well, they said, as for example,
Yeah.
because they use
Right.
positive film rather than negative,
yeah,
like slide film.
yeah,
But that was an example. So I don't know what that means.
right. Yeah.
Or slide film was an example of positive. Whatever.
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I want to look up a film that I watched.
there's a film that she made after this called like Working Girls
Uh-huh.
that I'm interested in seeing because it's about sex work.
Working
but
Girls. Yeah.
yeah, I think there are.
That comes up every time we try to do movies about sex work, and
Yeah.
I've never been able to get a hold of
Oh,
it.
okay.
But that may have changed because, like, this got apparently a re-release in 2016, like a
Yeah.
remaster and everything.
Yeah.
And Regrouping apparently is on Criterion, so
Oh wow. I think things about it that I felt like I couldn't be fully present in the film because I have such issues with like separatism in that way. Like it is very like women only orgs, women only things. I don't agree with it.
We feel that women who immediately cry sexism are being selfish and irresponsible. Any move towards separatism, the demand for equal rights for one group alone, hurts our struggle for the equal advancement of all parts of society.
okay.
Because a lot of times it will turn into turfy bioessentialism,
Sure.
like the women's festival, you know, that
Mish
was
Fest?
like, yeah, Mish Fest. That was like, we won't allow trans women in here, and it completely got shut down, and people were like, oh my God, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, if you can't expand the idea of what a woman is, then you cannot advance. And that's sort of like, I'm like, ooh, I don't like it. I know the push towards it and the need for having women's only spaces. I understand it, but I am always I don't feel comfortable in those spaces.
Even
And-
if they're not majority white.
Probably wouldn't be invited in those spaces. You know what I mean? I mean, I'm not necessarily saying but also like I wouldn't feel comfortable voicing because I think in those terms I am the minority, or not
Right.
the minority. I'm not minority as in, you know, but I'm the minority in who should be speaking. You know, like I am one of the
Gotcha.
the few, like
Right,
I shouldn't
right.
be speaking in mostly not white spaces. I'm not going to be like,
Oh.
well, I know these black women have opinions, but here's mine.
Well-
like, I'm not going to I'm not going to speak over
For sure.
anyone.
Anyway, my only point was, well,
Yeah.
whatever.
No, I think it's a fair question. I think it's a fine
Yeah.
question. I just mean like, I know how there are there, separatist movements often villainize men to a degree that is not.
Well, separatist, feminist movements.
What?
You just said separatist, and I just wanted to
I said
clarify.
separatist movements.
Yeah, but separatist feminist.
Well, yes. Separatist. Well, I didn't hear what you said. I just heard. So I was like, what?
I know.
Okay. But then you were explaining why you said it, but not what you said. So I didn't understand.
Guys, are you caught up?
Oh my God. Keith likes to do this thing, and I talk about it a lot because I want him to feel bad for it. But
Preach.
he'll say something, and I'll be like, "What?" And then he'll explain why he said it, and I'm
do
like,
love to talk about
I
it
did.
on
I
mic."
don't know what you said." and it's not something that I like. It doesn't make me angry, but it fascinates me. I'm always like, it's very confusing to me, and I find it fascinating. But that's something that
In this case, I did it because I wanted our listeners to understand.
That's fine, but whatever. So, yeah. Well, I think anything that says women only or like men cannot be here, I think you have to define gender to
Yeah.
such a degree that it becomes colonial and it becomes you then police gender. And this
Yeah.
is a dangerous thing. And this is extremely problematic because you're doing the exact thing
Okay.
that you're saying, hey,
Yeah.
you know, but it's mostly like what I'm trying to get at is like defining what is a man and what is a woman, and placing like violence on men but not on women. Like men are violent, women are not. This is
Yeah.
so wrong. And also if you're having a movement of a women only movement, and there are white women in this movement, and you're
Yep.
saying that men are more are violent and women aren't, like white women are absolutely violent to not just, you know, women of color, but men of color especially. Like in so many cases, just the existence of a white woman can put a man, you know, a person of color, specifically a man of color, and most specifically black men, in danger.
Yeah.
And I think like any lack of acknowledgement of those things for the sake of a separatist movement of any kind, it's a very, I'm like, I'm not going to want to be in that space because there's going to be a lack of acknowledgement of privilege throughout. And I think a lot of white women fantasize about separatism of the sexes and also villainize men and the things men do and don't ever acknowledge their own role in those same things that men can do violently. And there's a lot, and I say this specifically about white women. Like,
Yes.
white women can absolutely do massive harm and massive damage specifically to black women. And so if you're in a movement that's women only, it doesn't mean that violence against women is not going to happen within that group. And presenting it as separating ourselves from the men or creating a group of just women is going to keep us safe from this violence. I think that is a very misguided thought process. And I think, I think when I watched this the first time, I didn't really have there are things that feel sort of confusing. I enjoy that it doesn't really tell you what you're supposed to think. I do like that there's a lot of criticism of the Women's Army amongst other women movements, and how they're not doing enough. They're not, they're not fighting hard enough. They're like criticizing that they're like running up on bicycles, blowing whistles. Like, it's so badass when you're seeing it, but then someone's telling the story and she's like, this woman was getting raped and they ran up on bicycles blowing whistles. She's like, that's fucking pathetic. And I'm like, oh, I love this sort of like, because that is how, if you were hearing that story, you'd be like, what the fuck does that do? You know what I mean? Like, and so like things like that, I really liked the dialogues that would happen about like, here's what you need to be doing.
No, we
I don't want nobody
that's
backing
not what
me
it's
up.
about. It's not a game.
You know what the Army
It's not a
did?
game.
You want to tell me what the Army
What they
did?
did?
This girl got raped over there on the west side. You know
Yes.
what they did? Came running up there on a bicycle blowing a whistle. You want to be part of that army?
No, wait a minute.
Go ahead.
Wait a minute.
No,
now
no.
you know the sisters don't feel that way.
No,
Now,
no,
it would be
no.
a
Hey,
different sort of
that's what the Army did.
Right?
Ask them.
Oh, come on.
If
come
you
on,
don't
come on.
believe me, you
That
know
ain't the
you.
army I'm talking about different
Oh,
army.
nah, it's the same army.
Come on.
That army is not mature enough to hang out with me.
With bicycles?
And like about fighting, about like you can't have like change. You can't have like systemic change if you are, in a peaceful sort of like passive movement. Like you can't. You have to cause violence, and people are disagreeing on what that will entail and stuff like that. So I appreciate those aspects of it a lot. But I am like, there's not a single trans woman in this in this film.
Yeah, she mentioned that in the thing that I watched.
And
where
I'm like,
she was like, I'm not
No.
defending her.
No,
but
no,
she
no.
was like, that wasn't really possible at the time, is how she framed it.
Yeah.
But she did bring it up. And she was
Well-
like, now I would
Right.
include them.
Right. So that was something that made it feel
But yeah.
even
right.
and specifically at the time, it felt it made it feel unrealistic. Because I'm like,
yeah.
this is when, and especially like, no one is really a whore in the movie, and there aren't any trans women in the movie, and they specifically are shitting on prostitution, and they talk about how like rape and prostitution still exist,
Yeah.
and they're like, and I'm
Well,
like,
yeah.
oh,
No, I know.
I'm like, I really, really, really like, I want to completely just press that like framing sex work as something like men do to women is a very, very harmful what's the term? Like, it's a harmful like framing. It's a harmful framing of what sex work is. And it takes autonomy away from sex workers, which you can say, okay, do sex workers have autonomy? They should. and treating sex workers as if they don't have a say in what they do, and like pairing sex work with rape as like equal things is very, very troubling. And so that's all I wanted to say about that.
Yeah.
They almost never spoke about prostitution, as they called it, which is not a word you should be using, just FYI. They said prostitution and rape. They almost always paired those two together. If they talked about prostitution, they talked about rape. They would talk about rape separately, but not prostitution separately. So I was
Yep.
like, "Ugh, ah." So that got my cackles up, or whatever you say. Got my hackles, whatever.
Hackles. I don't know what a cackle is. I'm still waiting.
A cackle is a
Oh, it's
weird
kind of
laugh.
Yeah.
Which I know you know all that, and everybody knows all that, and they're like, yeah, we get it, but it's just one of those things where.
Well, this is, I mean, it brings up, I guess, my main sort of takeaway from this viewing is, like, I definitely, like, my earlier viewings, it was that mix of like, oh, this is so exciting.
Yeah.
And also, like, I feel uncomfortable
Right, yeah.
about some of the politics or whatever. I'm not sure
Yeah.
where I should be,
Yeah.
how I should feel about what this character is saying or et cetera. And I think, I mean, like any movie, you're not going to be able to be objective. You're not going to be able to remove your own politics. But one thing I thought about this time was like, oh, there's so many different ways to analyze this film. Like
Yeah.
you could look, I mean, the feminist framing, obviously a Marxist framing is would be the top of the list because they use that terminology and it's socialism or social democracy.
Right.
And I see this movie turns up on Afrofuturism
Yeah.
film lists. So I think there's lots of different
Yeah.
analytical, and that's just like, and it's
Yeah.
and like film studies, right? Like, because
Right.
it's not many films are
No.
edited this way, or
Right. Yeah.
I wouldn't call it experimental, but
Almost.
it's
Yeah. Well, I mean, maybe even for the time, it was more experimental.
Yeah,
You know?
I she definitely was coming from that place.
Yeah.
Like I said, her previous film was called experimental, and I
And
know
it's-
she was definitely. I heard her talking. She comes from the art
Yeah.
world.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know about the world. She went to art school.
Right.
And did some. She said at a very young age was writing reviews for Art Forum magazine, and anyway, so she was coming more from she wanted to be a painter.
Yeah.
So she was coming from a more
Right.
2D,
Yeah.
whatever terms we use for painting now. But in the as is well documented by this time, and especially for people my age,
Yeah.
I think there's a lot of romanticization, to say the very least. Some
Yes.
borderline fetishism around New York in the late 70s, right?
Yeah. For sure.
And I get why.
Yeah.
I definitely have some of it.
No. Yeah. Absolutely. And I think.
But a lot of
was-
it is the interdisciplinary.
Right. Well, because shit like this was happening there.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So.
Well,
Anyway.
that's what I'm saying. Like, I think those are my like those are like the negative things that I was like trying really hard to like rein in while I was watching it,
Yeah,
because I'm like,
right.
it isn't the main focus of the film, which is important.
Right.
It's hard not to have that like gut punch a little bit when I'm like, this is such a cool movie, but there's a lot of like. There's some people left out of this that I think would actually be on the forefront of these fights.
Right.
But at the same time, it's talking about, this sort of, like how our government is like, we're the best government in the world. We've done so much good. We had a revolution and we're so amazing now. And it's like, they're still trying to subjugate women and not allow women to work and like all this stuff. And they're offering women like money to be homemakers and shit like that. And it's like,
Yep.
I'm not saying that is how it is now, but like there is a push towards, trad wife bullshit. And there's like a huge, there's sort of, you know, puritanical, like these ideas of like being a wife and like marrying and getting married and having kids, and like this is something that's entering the zeitgeist and getting pushed onto people a little bit currently. And so it does mirror it in a different way than what the movie is showing. There, I do feel like, oh, this is a very blatant, obvious, like the film is a blatant, obvious thing. And in reality, our, you know, fascist government, puritanical, you know, push towards, you know, women not working and things like that it's much more subtle, and it's not happening in the ways the film is portraying, because the film has to portray it as more of a, you know, they have to do it more obviously, because with anything that's like a film, you have to like say it. You can't.
I'm a little confused about what you're saying the film is portraying.
Well, because at one point in the film, it's saying we're offering like money for women to
Wages
be
for
home.
housework.
Yeah. And it's basically implying that if you stay home and take care of your house, we'll reward you for that. And these women, while these women are trying to get jobs and they're trying to work with the men, and it's like, we hear you, we'll pay you to stay home and be homemakers. And it's that thing of like, you know, and I think, you know, it's a different, what I'm talking about, how it's different in our now reality is that like there's a lot of like on TikTok, it's like a lot of trad wife content is getting pushed out, and like people are getting paid to portray themselves as being stay-at-home moms, and like I have a husband and I take care of my 7 kids. I just want to clarify
that was in the 70s. That was a real feminist argument.
What was?
Or there was a push for wages for housework.
I get it, but it's also like, what?
Well, I think it was the idea that someone has to do this work, and so it should be compensated, and not treated like it's not labor.
That's what I'm saying. Like it really is that's what I'm saying. The film portrays it in a way that's like more more obvious. So it's not a, you know, it can be a little bit like, that's fine that was like a thing that was actually happening. That's not really what I'm saying. What I mean is like the film is showing that like you're rewarded for staying home in the house and staying at home.
Yeah, I'm saying I didn't read it that way.
Well, they were like that sort of, I mean, I read it as them being like, what the fuck, because that broadcast happens and then they cut into, and they're like, we're not going to do this shit. You know, we want to work.
We're being sold down the river at home, at work, and in the media. And now the president wants to pacify us with wages for our housework.
We want jobs, and like that's how it starts. Like that's how the Women's Army starts, kind of, is that they're like, we want to work, we want to have jobs, we want to be, you know, and then they're getting, you know, murdered for just wanting protection and not wanting to, you know, because at one point they were saying that like there are programs, I think that like programs for like rehabilitating rapists.
Oh yeah, right.
And because they're putting so much money into that, they're no longer funding women working.
Right. Yeah.
So like women are losing jobs so they can rehabilitate rapists, and they're like, what the fuck is that? They're like, but there's no money to help the women that have been raped, and there's no money.
And also things like childcare and.
Right.
In other words, there's no such thing, as far as our leaders are concerned, as a bad boy. These are just sick people. They've succumbed to emotional illness.
To rehabilitate rapists. And they've been cutting back on everything else. Like the victims, you know, women, they receive nothing. They've cut back so substantially that there's very, you know, little left there. They can't service hardly anyone. And even for other programs, you know, where a woman, you know, has emotional problems, there's nowhere for her to go.
So that's more what I think, you know, I took it more as they're trying to push women back. I mean, I think it's like a side story. I don't think it's the main focus of the film. But I took it more as like they're trying to push women back into the home and then be like, you'll be rewarded and you won't have to work. You can have kids. You know, you don't have to do this. And I'm not saying that. My point was just like, it's interesting that you could compare that to how it is now, is all I meant.
Yeah.
I wasn't saying that was like
No, I
the
know.
main focus or that's what it's like now or something. I'm like, it was just like an interesting sort of
Parallel.
like, yeah, that's all I meant.
Yeah, and I hear you.
No, yeah, I just wanted to make it clear that I
The
wasn't
thing
like,
I would say, the things that made sense to me this viewing that
Yeah.
never did before.
them buying guns.
No, well, yes. Because a lot of it, I don't think would make sense if you don't have. I mean, yeah, I just speak to myself. Because a lot of the arguments that we see in between the characters, like especially with the newspaper girls,
Yeah.
their supervisor or whatever
Yeah.
he is. A lot of the language is the kind of language like
Yeah.
they happen in like the USSR.
Okay.
And I think that's also a piece about the prostitution piece, where that framing makes more sense to me. Where like for instance, the USSR always claimed, apparently, I don't know, that there was no prostitution, which clearly couldn't be the case.
Yeah.
So, but the idea being like, and I'm not arguing for this position. I'm just saying the argument being like, if you have another job and you have all your needs met, there's no
Yeah.
need
Right.
for it.
Yeah. Correct.
I don't.
No, that's.
But-
yeah.
But also, what this movie does sort of center or take as its main proposition, let's say, is that you can have a revolution.
Mm-hmm.
You can. I mean, one thing throughout the movie that I do like is like it's never really defined. They use the term social democracy. They use the term socialist democracy.
Yeah.
We get that one. I think it's the president saying like or maybe it's a news anchor saying like the combination of
Ours has been the greatest cultural revolution of all time, through which we have wed democracy with its respect for freedom and individualism, and its abhorrence of all forms of communism and fascism, coupled with the moral and ethical humanism of American socialism.
But that's about as far as we get as for a definition of
Right.
what
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
is the structure, besides what we see of the negatives, right?
Yes.
So I like that. I mean,
Yeah.
that's hard for me, you know. I was so wet.
It was so hard for you though.
You know, my autistic brain or whoever
Yeah.
has trouble with that.
Yeah.
But also I do like it because then, you know, it's the thing we talk about. Like if too much is explained, then you get trapped.
Yeah. Yes.
And we get people saying like it's neither socialism nor democracy.
Yeah.
It's in name only. These kinds of
Yeah,
languages, right?
yeah.
Okay, but in what the term
Donna
that
DeVito.
gets used is like actual existing socialism.
Yeah.
Meaning states that actually attempted
Yeah.
a socialist structure.
Mm-hmm.
First of all, always under siege by the West. So, meaning like they can never do it in peace. They never had total
Yeah.
sovereignty. There has always, it still is.
Yeah.
Look at Cuba. Look at Venezuela.
Yeah.
Why do we hate China?
Yeah.
Why do we hate? I mean,
Yeah.
Russia's not even the Soviet Union anymore, and we still hate them
Yeah.
because they did the Soviet Union.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay, so point being, like most recently, I listened to people talking about East Germany.
Okay.
You know, when Germany was divided after World War II,
Okay.
East Germany became under the sphere of control of the Soviet Union. That's what the split was. West Germany was the free democratic West.
Okay.
Anyway, the thing is, you have this revolution, but people don't change overnight. So you still carry all the systems you grew up under. You still carry that programming.
Right.
So things like racism and sexism and all those things are still in your body.
Yeah.
Like you can't undo that in a society overnight.
Yeah.
So even if everybody's needs are met magically overnight, which doesn't happen either.
Yeah.
Like there's going to be the echoes, the ghosts of this. And it's going to take a generation or more for people to develop.
Yeah.
And like they even talk about, there's a little mention of like the women who come up, because the movie takes place 10 years after this bloodless revolution.
Yes.
And so that's part of what we see.
It's supposed to be 2016.
Who said that?
Well, one of them says that. One of them says it's I don't know, the radio white girl that does radio. Isabel. Okay. I was going to say it and I was like, I'm going to get it wrong. And then Keith's going to be like, who are you talking about? So I had to.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm so abusive.
Yeah, I wish you'd work on that.
I'm sorry. I'm so abusive. I can't help it. You're just stupid. And you don't know names.
You just need disciplining. Horrible.
Insert fucking Genesis chord.
I don't know, man. I'm sort of soured on.
Oh no! After she died.
No, this is Twitter, especially. I haven't investigated any of it really, but like, there's a lot of people saying like, yeah, they were. It's this thing of like CIA psyops or whatever.
Oh, God.
And I'm like, okay. At least one person in Throbbing Gristle was a huge Charles Manson head, and for the racist reasons.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I think that was.
It wasn't Genesis.
Oh, okay. I thought them. Shit, is it? Well,
Genesis. In my most current awareness, they refer to themselves in the third person.
Right. That's what. They I think use like
they would say we. Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
By the third.
That's what I said them because I was
Plural
like, wait, how would
third.
you? Yeah, plural. Yeah. Anyway, whatever. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Anyway,
This is Isabel on Radio Ragazza, station 2016 on your dial.
At one point, she says it's 2016. She says it's like 2016 radio.
Ragazza.
Ragazza
Oh no, that's
radio.
the frequency.
Okay.
I mean, I thought.
Right. That's
But,
what I'm saying.
I mean,
That's why I was asking.
It doesn't make sense for the FM band that you would have a number that high, but
Right. That's what I mean, though.
so I don't
I'm
know.
like,
That's fair.
yeah. I was like,
yeah,
wait
I
a
didn't
minute.
consider that.
And 2016 isn't a way that you would say it, right?
Yeah, probably not.
Yeah. So that's why I was like, that's
Yeah,
all.
I don't know.
I don't, and I am saying that because I'm saying that was the only time I thought a year could even be possibly referenced.
Right.
That's it. That's all I was saying.
Yeah.
But it's a year after the bloodless revolution.
10.
10 years. A year. What's wrong with me? I was thinking the number 10 in my head.
Oh, okay.
I was like, one of those years.
Well, you
the number
said
10.
you had just said it's the only time a year is mentioned, so maybe.
Yeah.
Anyway,
No.
point being, and then there's a clip of someone saying like, these, some of these women coming up, were born into,
Yeah.
or are young enough that they didn't live through.
Yeah.
I think they say it on the Belle Gale show, which I love the name. So yeah, so that I didn't have that framing
Yeah.
of, but that's a lot of the language of like is this counter-revolutionary? You're going against the party, because one of the things is, you have a single party.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's things that, like, we talked about recently. I saw a post, someone talking about, because I've thought about this before. Like, there's culturally, let's say, in the West, let's call it, any kind of the challenging of authority.
Yeah.
Is something we pride ourselves in. Like, it's confusing because it's counterintuitive, because it's nobody really does.
Yeah.
But we think that, but it's basically a rebellious teenager kind of flavor of rejection of authority.
Yeah. Yes.
And the American version in particular is the rugged individualism kind of shit.
Yeah.
Which, or libertarian style, flavor.
Yeah.
Such that, like, I feel like that's the big reason why we have the sort of mainstream political thing we have right now, where the rise of MAGA, these people thought they were being rebellious against the government.
Right.
And maybe a little.
Yeah.
And if so, for the wrong reasons. I mean, like, point being, I think that's something to factor in when watching this, is the want to identify. Like, this time, I'm like, oh, the tanking in me, as small and nascent and newborn as they are, says, this is counter-revolutionary, because they're not giving the revolution time to mature.
Yeah.
And it's okay if you want to say, like, this needs to be prioritized over other things, which it has not been.
Right.
And, I'm not gonna take a stance and say, like, oh, these characters, the women's army is being counter-revolutionary.
Right.
I don't give a shit. It's fiction, and we don't know enough. But my point being is, like, I have a framing for that and why that's in the movie.
Yeah. Right.
And what the language refers to that I didn't have before. Like, all of that was confusing to me, and I didn't know what to do with it.
Well, I think it's something that's, like, it's important to think about, like, when there is a revolution and it's like we are all being better and things start to get way worse.
Right.
Like, it's fast tracking to be worse than it was before. And you're like, hey, this isn't what you're saying it is. I think that's also something that, like, even giving it time doesn't make sense, because it's like, it's sort of like how people are like, vote blue no matter who, because you have to, because we have to win the next election. But, like, for, like, the past,
Blue Lives Matter.
For the past, like, 20 years, blue has done nothing against red, and red has consistently pushed and pushed and pushed and gotten more and more and more, and there's been very little progress on the blue side. And so they're just like, vote, and now the argument is like, vote blue because it's not red, instead of, and that's it. That's the whole entire thing.
But also, you have to do more to distinguish yourself for that argument to stand.
Well, yes, but that's what I'm saying. So, to the point that all you have to do is say, I'm blue, and people are like, vote for blue because it's better than red. And why I'm saying blue and red is because it's literally that color. It's just a color coding. It has no actual meaning anymore. Yeah. And people are so like, you have to vote because it's the only thing you can do. And it's like, hey, if that's the only thing we can do, we're done and we've lost. If literally putting someone's name is the only thing that we're going to be able to do to enact any sort of change. And at this point, we're not even, and we've stopped asking for change. At this point, we're like, can we have a little bit back that we've lost? So we're not even asking for change anymore. We're saying, can it be a little less worse?
Yeah.
So we're getting things taken away from us, and still we're hearing vote blue, vote blue, vote blue, because that's the only way that we're going to get out of this. And it's like, you've been saying that for over a decade now, and it's gotten this
the
bad.
opposite.
And it's gotten this bad. And anytime you try to say, but, you're reminded of how absolutely like anti-democratic you are, and how much you love Trump, and how much you just want the world to go to shit because you just can't vote blue. And to me, that argument is a fascist argument. Because it's saying, don't question anything, just do what you're supposed to do. And when you say, hey, I did that and things got worse, and you get labeled dangerous for that because you're asking those questions, you get labeled untrustworthy, you get labeled a terrorist because you're saying, I don't align myself with you, with this party. You know, I'm saying terrorist because that's what happened in the movie, not because that's what's happening. You know what I mean? But it's that, right? That's what I mean. But it's the movie is being more factual than what we want to admit to in this day and age. You know, but you're getting labeled all of these things. You're a problem. You're a nuisance. You need to be taken care of because you're not going with the status quo anymore, and the status quo is not helping people. The status quo is not changing things for the better, and it's not helping anything.
Well, it's helping the rich.
Yes, but it's not helping anything beneficial to real people. And no, I don't think the rich are real people. And I say that being I'm not using metaphors. I think that if you're so disconnected from the reality of like thinking about how you will pay for your next meal, or if you will have a roof over your head, if you can no longer imagine or have never been able to think about what that might be like, even if you've never experienced it, but if you cannot imagine without thinking, just don't be that way, you are not a human being. And I'm being serious. Like, I know that might sound shitty, but like, I truly don't have compassion for you because
I guess not all lives matter then.
Nope, they absolutely do not. Not to me. Like, they're like Elon Musk.
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I know. You might remember. This might help you. Become the first trillionaire. Which is a number that should not exist in reality, in anything. I mean, not that money is tangible, but, you know, in anything tangible, in anything real, in anything that is...
Don't get me started on
On math?
SpaceX IPO.
Oh, my God. And I swear, like...
And that's how he got to be a trillionaire, quote unquote.
If you are there and people are here and people are like, I remember, like, this is an aside.
I gotta pee.
I remember when I lived in Nevada, so often during the winter, people would die because they didn't have enough money for heat. Like, they didn't have, they would just plug in space heaters and they would die because they were trying to not have to pay to turn their heat on because they couldn't afford it. And it would kill them because space heaters, you know, this was like 15 years ago, 16, 17 years ago. And that's something that, like, if It would happen to a lot. Like, I don't know why, but it would happen all the time during winter. Just be like, this whole family died because they were using a space heater. I know, you're like, what does that have to do? Because imagine dying because you don't have enough money to turn on your heat. And that was like 20 years ago.
Okay, I'm going to ask a probably stupid question, but like, did they freeze to death?
No.
Or was there like a fire?
No, it's like there's like off-gassing, I think. Like they would like.
Oh, okay.
Right. They didn't know this, right?
I see.
And like they would just like carbon monoxide poisoning or something. I don't really know.
So by space heater, you mean an open flame of some sort?
I don't know because it would just happen. It would just be on the news, like, and they'd be like, "Don't fucking use a space heater to heat your like. Don't fucking do this." You know, they didn't have the kind they have now that you can get for like, you know, $50 where, you know, it's all electrical and shit like that. I think it was like, yeah, probably like an open flame kind of thing. And their entire family would die. And it was probably an old one that they got from like a thrift store or something. So it wasn't even regulation, you know, shit like that, you know, I'm sure, because it's poor fucking families or they inherited it from their, you know, parents or whatever. And so it's like, that was like 20 fucking years ago that was happening because people couldn't afford to turn on their heat, right? Things are vastly worse now. Like, and so how, and like, so for so many people, like families will, I mean, it doesn't happen as much in the Midwest, but especially places like Nevada, places like California, things like that. I don't know why over there it's more popular, but like people won't have they won't have money to like rent a place, so they'll just stay in hotels. Their whole family will stay in a hotel or like a motel for like years because they don't have, and their whole entire family is living, you know, and it's like that sort of thing where like all these people are living. I had like a friend that went through that. They were like, when I lived in California, you know, our whole family lived in a motel room for like 3 years. And it was like their entire family living in one room because they didn't have enough money to survive. Right. So I'm not just like pulling shit out of my head, you know, and I've heard of this from people, you know, this is a thing.
Okay.
And like, I just think about like how much more difficult that is now than it was then. How much harder it is to do something like that now than it is then. And I think if you have a trillionaire and that situation that was happening 20, 30 years ago is so much worse now, there's going to be so much more death, so much more destruction of just people trying to survive.
There already is.
And you're right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I'm saying it's just going to keep growing is what I mean. I'm not saying
like
exponential.
Right.
And to me, you are not a human being if you can have that much money and do nothing at all. Even something that's like misguided.
It's basically like you're trying to be outside the human race.
Yes, which I fully believe he is. But
yeah, in his case, absolutely, definitely true, and succeeding.
Exactly right. Yeah, he's getting everything he wants. But it's just like, yeah, I don't know. It's just one of those things where I don't remember why I started talking about that, but you're welcome. Sorry.
It's fine.
Rant.
Yeah. I mean, that's one thing I like about the film is that it's gonna
right, and it's. I mean, I read it was like science fiction because it takes place in the future and stuff, and I'm like, oh, that's really cool that it has like all these, like you said, you know, like Afrofuturism and stuff like that. Like, it is a futuristic film.
It's almost more utopian to me that it gives you the idea. It lets you think, like, because I talk at least ad nauseum about the failure of imagination, right?
Right.
We can't imagine anything better.
Yes. Right.
So this gives you the day after, basically.
Yeah. Right.
Like, oh, how exciting to have an imperfect revolution.
Yeah.
Because
right. But and that's the thing. It's like,
to me more hopeful in a way.
Yeah.
Because
right. The thing is like this idea of like well, I'm afraid it might get worse. So I don't want to change anything.
Yeah, sure.
And it's like,
That's why people don't leave relationships.
babe, it is
And
getting
then
worse.
get
It's
murdered.
already been worse. Shut the fuck up.
No, I'm serious though.
It's already, no, but I mean, whatever.
I'm not blaming the victim.
Well, it does sound like it a little bit.
Well, a little bit.
Also, we watched I feel like that framing is in your head because we watched the Lacey Peterson documentary yesterday.
You're not wrong.
I watched it. Keith was like, I was watching Hoarders, which I've manipulated Keith into also enjoying.
I'm going to say, what a successful psyop, because now I want to get rid of all my belongings. So, well done. You really...
Right.
So,
I know.
You just really...
You're welcome. Happy birthday. And really, Dr. Zarzio is really... And Corey just steal the show. Because Corey, I wanted Keith to watch it because I really needed you to hear how much he sounded like fucking Will Forte. Because he sounds like
confirm.
Will fucking Forte.
100%
He
sounds
literally, yes, it literally... I imagine Corey as Will Forte because he sounds exactly the fucking same.
Yeah.
And he's very funny to me because he never has patience for anyone, but in the best way, like not in a shitty way. It's just so funny.
I mean, he's incredibly patient.
Oh my God. Too patient, but also no patience whatsoever. Like he's just immediately like, well, this is bad and it's gonna keep getting worse. Like when he loses it with someone, he'll be like, all right, well, that's your opinion. Bye. He's like, sorry, it got so heated. You know? Anyway, whatever. I was watching Hoarders yesterday, and Keith was like, I need to like do something and not watch TV. Is that fine for you? And I was like, yeah, do it, lady. And then, so I was like, oh, I don't.
And then
really...
I kept getting.
No, I
watching.
was like, okay, well, I don't want to watch Hoarders without you. But I was like, well, if you're not in here, then I can like see if anything else calls to me. So I was like, I'll watch a documentary on the Lacey Peterson murders, I guess, sort of.
Yeah. Twofer.
Yeah. And so I started watching it, and Keith comes in. He's like, interrogation. I'm going to watch this.
So I have to watch the interrogation
he watched the interrogation. He watched almost the whole rest of the thing. He just kept being like, so what is, he just kept coming and be like, what did they find out?
Find the body yet?
He's like, what's going on? So, and they were talking about like abusive relationships in it, and like sort of like, you know, why would you stay with somebody that blah, 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 whatever. Anyway, so that's why Keith is mentioning that. I feel like sometimes you do this thing, and I'm only saying I feel like sometimes. So I'm not telling you how you are. I'm telling you how it feels. Sometimes, not all the time. So I'm not telling you.
Here we go.
Your
Another
behavior,
diagnosis.
right? That if we watch something, or like we watch something a lot, you'll start peppering like things about it into the podcast.
Oh, yeah, obviously.
Yeah. But like if we watch it, like you'll reference something that we just watched. Mm-hmm. And I always think it's funny because I'm like, no one's going to get this.
No,
because
it's
it was
just
like
for you. It's a little...
I just think it's funny.
It's a little joke for us.
Just for us. Anyway, yeah.
That was not conscious though.
Yeah.
That one.
That's
now.
That's why I brought it up. Because I was like, I don't think you did that one on purpose.
Yeah.
I think you were
busted.
Yeah.
This is for the ones who didn't leave, or whatever she says, or they say at the end.
It's like this is for the ones who left in time or something,
right.
And those who didn't. I'm like, what does this mean? Also, and like, you know, she's been through a horrible thing. Feel sorry for her, but Lacey Peterson's mom kept like saying things or like
Sharon Rocha, shout out.
She was giving like examples of stuff, and it made no fucking right. Like she in the courtroom for sentencing, she was she was like,
she was like, I imagine.
Why'd you do this, Daddy?
She's like, I imagine the unborn like my unborn grandchild being like, why are you doing this to me, Dad? There has to be another way. And I'm like, what the fuck? I was like, how are...
Yeah, this is like her
so
part of her
fucking
impact
weird.
statement or whatever.
Right. I was like, I'm so sorry, but that's like so fucking... I mean, I don't know. Like, I was like, that feels like a mental illness to me. I was like, please stop. And she kept saying shit like that. Like, it just was very odd and weird. And I was like, I told Keith, I was like, that's enough imagination for you today. You need to be on some
It's very
drugs
funny.
or something.
The reaction, the strong reaction you had to it was very funny to me.
It was so... That shit's so weird to me. That shit makes me uncomfortable because that, to me, that kind of thinking, that kind of like verbalizing of of a thought is very like not so
maladaptive.
Well, it's so outside of reality in like so many different ways that
Right.
it's like I would be hospitalized if I said something like that
Right.
to someone. And
Right.
I understand you're going through something, but like that can't be, that can't be okay to have those thoughts. Like, you need help. And I don't say that like literally. I'm like that's a tortured brain that needs to like seek help. And not saying that and like, you're fucked up and fuck you. It's not like that. It's like literally like these
Please get some help so you
shouldn't
don't have
be-
to do that to yourself.
Exactly. Like, these are inside thoughts that if you feel compelled to take them out of inside, that like oh my God, it's so bizarre to me. Like, oh God, like, oh, I can't even, like, oh my God.
See the film Blonde from 2020.
God,
or
no,
whatever.
yeah, because they do the Marilyn Monroe. I swear to God, because like I don't actually remember if Marilyn Monroe had an abortion or if she had a miscarriage.
Right.
Medically, they're the same thing, but like,
Well,
one's like a spontaneous
No, I-
abortion and one's an elective one. But it's just an abortion.
I voted for it.
But like Marilyn Monroe like wanted kids and like was not able to have them. And that was something that was like very
physically?
hard for, I believe so.
Or
like
medically or whatever.
Yeah. I
Biologically?
think so. I think it was something that was like hard for her. Maybe I'm
Sure.
misremembering. But in the movie, they have the like in the movie, I guess she gets like an abortion and then it shows the fetus like inside her being like, why did you kill me, mommy? Why did you?
Why are we doing
Like,
this?
what the fuck? I hate that shit. Like, don't, like, I don't know why. And like, of course a man made this movie.
Yeah.
Like, oh God. Why did you murder me, mommy? Like, how dare you? It's so fucking psycho. That shit's so weird. Anyway.
You won't hurt me this time, will you? Not do what you did the last time?
I didn't. I didn't mean to.
Yes, you meant to. It was your decision.
You're not the same baby. You're this baby.
That was me. It's always me.
He loves us. He would die for us. He said so.
Just makes you think.
But that was the thing, like, she wanted kids, and so people are like, putting this in the movie is like really shitty because it wasn't like something that she like didn't want to and it was like forced upon her, or she had a miscarriage or something, like in real life, like the actual happenings of it. So like to paint it like that was so like, they were like, that's so horrible to her like legacy of like implying that she was like,
Right.
you know, like it makes it doubly horrible. Is what
Like
they're
Gilles de Rais, child murderer.
saying. Should be hyphenated. Anyway.
Time enough to get your distracting tits off my lawn.
Would you recommend?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
And I think it is an important work in
Absolutely.
that many different things. You can get many different things from it. And
Yes.
I think, well, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I almost don't want to, like I haven't said that much about the film itself because I kind of want you to just watch it. And I think it's one that you just got to watch it, see how you react to, and then look at sit with those feelings.
Yeah.
I don't think it's, that makes it sound like it's maybe more emotionally challenging than I mean.
Yeah.
It's more like politically challenging.
Yes.
I want you to think about your politics and why
Also,
you have the reactions you have to
also,
the politics that are on display
and
in various times.
I think it's a great jumping off point. I think that if you watch this and you have a knee-jerk reaction of like, this seems very radical and over the top, then this is a great place to start. Because this is not that radical.
Right.
This is very tame.
And that's actually one of the
Right.
points of the movie.
Yes, correct.
I would say.
Yes. And right, and it does a lot to be like, how do you enact change without violence? Can you enact change without violence? These are questions that if they make you uncomfortable, I would definitely recommend this film. Also, pay attention to it. There's a lot going on in the movie, and it's, the dialogue is not always easy to hear.
Correct.
I mean that literally, not like emotionally or sometimes, you have to really listen to hear stuff. Sometimes it's like, what the fuck did they just say? Yep. But, I think one of my favorite parts was like the newspaper editor, one of the newspaper editors.
Oh, okay.
One of the three women, she, the main one that's like, I liked her because I felt like she was performing really well and like her performance, felt so believable. I felt like she was in this, and there was a lot that I really enjoyed her storyline, not solely, but like I liked what they did with it because at first she's like, we're not going to publish anything that you want us to talk about because it's going to get us like, it's totally anti-party.
Yeah.
It's not really going to benefit anyone. It's just going to raise questions that we don't think are relevant. And it's going to divide people. Not really great. Then they're like, something happens and they're like, oh, we have to talk about this, I guess. And then they keep talking about it and then they lose their job. And then she's like part of the women's army and she's like literally like doing the shit. And I was like, oh, damn. I was like, yeah. And I think that that's like I think that is something that's like a good, like, there's no questioning of that. There's no questioning of motives. It's just literally showing like how she got from where she is to where she, goes.
Yeah.
It's just A to B. It doesn't ask questions about it. It doesn't put morality on it. It doesn't like, it just literally is like, here's what radicalized her and how she was radicalized. And I think that that's like I think it was like a really cool thing to see, like the first, her being like, this is like child's play. We're not really interested in getting involved, to her literally being on the TV being like, we're going to keep doing this shit until you guys listen to us.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, wow. I was like, yeah, this is cool. So like, there are things like that I think are extremely important.
Something I didn't think about until this viewing also. I mean, first of all, I was going to say, this is for sure the most I've been able to, this viewing was the most I've been able to track the characters and what groups they're part of and names. That was all just murky as fuck at best.
Yeah, I don't think I got any of that the first time.
Yeah. So, and I love the framing that it starts out with like the FBI or whoever.
Yeah.
it's like a dossier
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
Adelaide.
Yeah.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
such a good framing.
And I don't remember what her name is in the movie, but like the older black lady.
Yeah,
like,
what's she called? I
who's-
forget what she's called. In the
I
movie.
don't remember. And also
Florence
like,
Kennedy, who's
oh,
she was a real
fuck.
civil rights, and most of the shits he said was her.
I was gonna say like that shit felt so like real.
Yeah,
Like it didn't
yeah.
feel like dialogue.
No, that's from experience,
right.
and that's
and
all her.
she was
apparently.
just saying, but that's what it felt like watching.
We have the
I
right to
felt-
violence. It's like the
Right.
right to pee. Apparently, is
I was like, oh fuck! Everything she was wearing,
Yeah.
everything. Like
first time we see her. Almost,
honestly,
she's wearing a keffiyeh.
Yes, but there's one scene where it's her and Adelaide is like sitting on a bed, and she's like laying down, and she's like covered up, like she's just like almost like she was napping, and this is like she just woke up with these thoughts or whatever. I don't know, like the neutrality of that, like their position, like how comfortable they both were while they're having this conversation. I was like Oscars. I was like, this is so beautiful. Because, like, that's one thing about, like, indie made things, but also, like, micro budget, like, where you're literally, like, hiring people who either do this or talk about this or are experts on something, because that's how you have to, like, you can't just hire an actor who's going to study all this shit to be able to deliver these lines. You actually have to get, like, real people who are able to have these conversations or understand this dialogue or just care about the project enough that they're going to do it. There is going to be a much more natural way that they navigate than like setting up a scene, you know? If you're like, we're just going to film you guys talking, and then they're just talking. Like even the one where I think it was Adelaide having the conversation. She's like in the windowsill, and her friends making fun of everybody riding up on
the
bicycles.
army isn't mature
That
enough
back
for
and
me
forth,
or whatever.
she just keeps like she's like sitting out like in the window, and she like she comes in, she goes out on the window, she comes in, she goes out. Love it.
No,
I love
absolutely.
it. It's so real, like shit like that. I'm like, this doesn't feel like you're like, it feels like you're literally just like they just turn on the camera.
Yeah.
And this conversation was
No,
already
I think
going
that was
on.
the case a lot of times.
Yeah.
I mean, or it was like they did that. It was sort of improvised, and they scripted it.
Yeah,
Went back to just to refine it a little bit. And over years, so like some of these people developed a relationship.
Yeah.
And
yeah, and it shows in this movie. Like it doesn't feel, a lot of the things that are said don't feel fake, despite the fact that you can tell that some of these people are not real actors or like
Correct.
not trained actors.
No, and
so that gives it like you do feel kind of like you're watching a documentary.
Right.
Yep.
And
the way that it's shot, like there's a lot to it that's like really interesting and
Absolutely.
really important to pick apart and to look at and to pay attention to, because it can feel and it can go over your head too. Like if you're not paying attention to it, if you write it off as just, oh, it's a sci-fi movie, low budget sci-fi movie, and that's what you think about it, you're not really gonna retain, like, think about it.
No,
like,
and the discussions that are had are not like, I mean, the language is plain, but I think the politics of them are,
for sure,
I don't want to say timeless, because I believe at some time this movie will become obsolete, and that will be a good thing.
For sure.
A sign of
Absolutely.
good things.
Absolutely.
Okay. But I'll say that's the unfortunate timeliness of it,
No, I got it.
is that the things we're talking about resonate, and the language being used is not dumbed down.
Yeah.
It's plain.
Yeah.
It's not academic language for the most part.
Yeah.
But the conversation, I mean, like, that's the thing. They're still relevant in that we still have these problems, these issues.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
So that's why it doesn't feel, I mean, I guess to your point a little bit is what I'm responding to, in that, like, if you had people who were trained actors and they were talking about politics that weren't their own,
Yeah.
it would feel very different.
Yes. And also, if you're like going in, you're like, this is a futuristic movie, and it's the future. It's not now. Like people would, I think, approach it differently. And it's supposed to be a futuristic movie, but I think it was done. Part of the reason why that was done, I mean, this is just my opinion. I'm not saying this is true or fact. Is that like you can't really talk about doing a terrorism for political change in the here and now.
Oh.
You have to create sort of a, you can't make it as realistic and then be like, we're going to blow up the Twin Towers and then think that like the FBI is not going to still come and,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Maybe. I don't know that she was worried about that.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I assume that gives a safety so that you can have more broad discussions and more focused. Like you can be more like you can talk about radical things more easily when you're like, this is in the future. But there was no attempt to make it look futuristic.
Yeah.
So it's just like, it was a sci-fi movie. Like, what do you mean? You know what I mean?
I just think of it more. I think
it.
of it more as like an alternate present, where 10 years ago.
That's how it feels. Yeah. But I think giving it
And
that
it's just
sort of like
because of the things she wanted to talk about.
Yeah.
Had to be in a post-revolutionary.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, I hear you, but I wonder.
I'm not saying. Yeah.
I mean,
not saying
that's a benefit, I guess.
Yeah.
Is that you can talk about a terrorism on a real place.
Yeah. That's what I mean.
A fictional future.
That's what I mean. Like that gives you a lot more room to postulate or whatever.
Right. It's the thing I always bring up with the paraliterary of Samuel Delaney that I'm sure at this point that I misunderstood or misquoted, but I'm still gonna say that's where I got it from, even if I did it wrong.
Yeah. Yeah. That's all that counts.
I guess we got to review the month.
Yeah, but we got to do that as an add-on.
Against external perturbation, the party of education. Choose all history's confirmation of social democratization. In brotherhood and sisterhood, we are prepared to give our blood. Defend, unite, crush those who would deny the right for which we stood. We are born in flame.
Why'd you do this, Daddy?